my name is Sylvia from Sylvia Ray, and you're watching my channel. Now today we're going to be looking at two paintings that scare me. They churn my belly. They make me feel some type of way. Both of these paintings originate from Moscow at around like the 14th, 15th century, both made in the 19th century. Now the first painting we're going to be looking at is called Stańczyk by Jan Matejko. Now this is a very popular painting. You might have seen it before. It's a jester just leaning back in a chair, just chilling, kind of contemplating the meaning of life.
Are you actually doing that the jester?
Yeah.
Is that what whoever in the Discord suggested to you? You motherfucker. I literally looked him up, showed you the video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like prior to all of this. You said no. Like,
why did I say no?
Because you said you were focusing on the other right now.
I do remember that. I forgot all about all of that.
You're a bastard.
I'm a bastard.
Like editing in your video and like fair enough.
Well, that's the only reason.
But like you were just straight up like no.
I was trying.
And then no like conversation about it at all for like a week, and then you start recording your video, and it's about this motherfucker.
Listen, now I can't film in front of you because I'm gonna be talking about it. I'm just gonna be thinking about it. I was editing. I wasn't dismissing the painting. I was dismissing you. Period. I'm sorry.
Well,
yeah.
I should.
I can't do this, baby. Anyway, this painting that I and only I was interested in. Nobody influenced this. The painter itself, his family was very patriotic. This man has won gold medals. He's been on vacay to Paris, Vienna, Prague, Budapest, Italy, Venice, Rome, Florence, Istanbul, and mad other places. He's one of the top representatives in Europe as a painter, a historical painter. The Polish nation loved him so much that they paid a tribute to him after he died. They created a monument in all of his glory and artistry. They said he chronicled Polish history with verve and romance. But to get into this painting itself, it includes a court jester called Stańczyk. Baby, you pronounce this.
So it's Stańczyk.
Stańczyk. He was very wise. He used his comedy to criticize people that were in power. Some might call him a philosopher. He was definitely more than just an entertainer.
He is remembered as a man of great intelligence and political philosopher, gifted with formidable insight into Poland's current and future situations.
So as you might imagine, he's kind of a cool guy. Now, if you take the time to actually look at this painting, there are a lot of important details to keep in mind. First of all, look at him. Just look at him. He looks sad. He looks like he's contemplating the fate of the world. There are letters on the table next to him. There's a ball happening in the room behind him. So people are jolly and having a good time while he's sitting there alone, just in his chair, completely struck by whatever he might have just read. It looks like his scepter has been dropped on the floor, and there's an interesting thing happening with the lighting situation here. Because he's a jester, I feel like there's sort of a connection to how he's being lit. It's very theatrical, and I'm really resonating with the colors here because he's sticking out like a sore thumb. Not only is he just smack dab in the middle of the painting, he's also wearing red. I feel like that sticks out. There's a sort of loneliness that's being communicated to us through this painting. Even in the juxtaposition between him sitting alone in the chair and that happy party happening behind him. So his reaction is to whatever he had just read on that table. The city of Smolensk has been captured by Moscow. So that speaks to his isolation even more, because, you know, now we assume like he's the only person that knows right now. The message had just been received and he might have been the first one to open it. So he reads it, he's like, oh shit, like this is crazy. It's pretty obvious that he kind of foresees that the war will probably not end well. In 1514, Grand Prince Vasily III of Moscow marched to Smolensk and land siege on the city, eventually recapturing it and absorbing it into its territory. This leads us into our next painting, Ivan the Terrible and his son Ivan. So they have the same name, they're besties. The reason why it leads us into this next painting is because Ivan is the son of Vasily III. There's a little connection there. In this actual painting, we can see that there's a struggle here. The furniture is tipped over in the back. There's a long metal stake, a cane. I mean, I would use it as a cane. It's a good weapon, you know. The rug is pulled out from underneath Ivan's feet, and this man is holding on to his dead son so tightly. He looks like he is filled with so much regret and horror, and the look on his face kind of makes me nervous. Like it gives me shivers a little bit. Not just his face, but also his son's face. He's got dead eyes, like he's super glazed, and it just looks really real. It looks like the painter was there when it happened, and then he just was like,
hold still. I know you're grieving your son's death right now, but I need you to hold still.
And then he takes out his paints and his canvas, and then, you know, sits there for like 3, 4, 5 hours painting this man, grieving his son. And the blood is kind of, you know, giving me the ick a little bit. It's gross. But I've never seen a dead person before. Until I seen this painting. I feel like I have seen one, and that's how horrifying and realistic this is, sort of, you know. The father looks like he's like holding this dude tight, like he had just found him dead, but there definitely is some remorse there. I also noticed that there's something here in this doorway. I have no idea what it is. If you know, please tell me. Painters and sculptors, they don't just do shit for no reason. There's a reason for everything. It looks like a weird angle of like a, what's it called? One of those horsey thingies that you sit on, you ride on it. But it also looks like a chair. I don't know. I have no idea. Ilya Repin, when you look at a lot of his paintings, it almost seems like you can kind of pick the psychology of it, if that makes sense. Now, if we dive deep into who Ivan is himself, this man was incredibly troubled. He was the first ruler of Russia to have this title Tsar. He also assumed his crown at 3 years old. I think you can only imagine how bratty he might have been.
You got me 2K15 instead of 2K16!
It was out of stock!
His mother, along with a few other people, had become regents. Regents are like just people who rule whatever nation in place of a ruler, like a lorem ipsum ruler. When he turned 8 years old, his mom died. She was replaced by a boyar, and a boyar is a feudal aristocrat. In some of Ivan's letters, he said that he was very neglected by these people of this rank, that one of them came in to his room drunk and put a dirty boot on his bed or something. I don't know how traumatizing that is for a child. Definitely doesn't seem as traumatizing as it should have been, considering the person that he became. There's probably many other things that happened, but he definitely grew to hate boyars. The way that they treated him definitely added to the instability here. Apparently he used to throw animals out the window. One day he married a woman whom he loved so dearly, and they had 6 beautiful children, 3 daughters and 3 sons. In 1560, his mental health started to decline hella hard when his wife died after 13 years of marriage. And of course, due to his incessant hate for these boyars, he blamed them. He started murdering all of his ops. He exiled them, killed them, and their families.
Larry, what the hell are you doing? Larry, you can't just...
He was very, very unstable. He used to be known as a man of discipline and restraint. How? I have no idea. But somewhere around this really intense decline, he started having orgies and organizing feasts, which is, I mean, how we're living today.
If you really think about it.
Over time, some of the people that were working under him, they became murderous thugs, motherfuckers that are just obnoxious. They murdered nobles and peasants. I don't know why. but maybe they wanted to flex their dick or something. The nation started to go through a very hard time. These might have been the events leading up to what's rumored to be what happened in this painting. So the reason why he killed his son, his pregnant daughter, was apparently wearing immodest clothing. Whatever you call immodest back then, definitely not. He hated it so much that he beat the hell out of her until she had a miscarriage. Like, her baby just died, you know. She pissed it out. So his son heard about this and went up to him like,
yo, what's up? What are you doing? Like, why'd you do that? That's my sister. That's your daughter. And you put your hands on her.
This is an altercation that got violent very quickly. So that man really got so angry he killed his son.
Why do men speak? Why do they breathe? Why do they have opinions? Why do they have thoughts, ideas, and dreams? It always seems to be some bullshit that affects my joy. And I can't fucking take it anymore. I can't do it anymore.
Now, Ilya Repin, he wanted to paint this scene, this aspect of this leader's life, as a metaphor for the senseless and political violence that swept the country at the time of the painting's creation. So around the 1880s, he had attended an execution. He saw the assassination of Tsar Alexander II and an execution of one of his assassins. He found it so disturbing and disgusting, and I would too. That would traumatize you if you saw someone die. There were a lot of people that criticized Repin's painting. There were people who found it disgusting. It's a gruesome painting. You can call art all you want, but people are gonna interpret it how they're interpreting it. There are people that criticize him that say,
how dare you depict our ruler in such a gruesome manner?
Aside from the insurmountable amount of evidence against Ivan the Terrible that proves that he's terrible, the fact that he had killed his son, he might have been personally responsible for the worsening of the crisis that was ensuing in the nation. His son might have been a really good leader, and we would have never known because he died. There were lots of stories actually surrounding his son's death, that he wasn't actually killed by his father, but that he was killed somewhere else somehow, or he went somewhere and didn't come back. Even with all of these rumors going around, Repin did take it upon himself to date his painting. This kind of proves that he doesn't see this as a rumor. Like, he believes that Ivan the Terrible would kill his son. These paintings are psychologically horrifying. They're haunting in a way, and it's very beautiful. It's really a skill to be able to depict something with such realism. I don't know how you can depict an event that you're just trying to imagine happened and you don't have a reference, or if they did use references, how they do it. Did he just like have two people pretend to be the scene that he depicted and then he painted that? Thank you so much for watching me. If you stuck around this long, hit like, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!